everyone. I'm your host, Heather Ashley, and welcome to another episode of Women of Her Story, a podcast dedicating to recognizing and celebrating women who made or are making an impact on our society. Today, I have a very special guest with me, performing artist Musa Hitomi. Musa is an NYC transplant, aren't we all? Hailing from Tokyo, Japan. Thank you so much for joining us today, Musa.
Thank you so much for having me, Heather.
Of, of course. So let's get right into it. How are you holding up during this COVID-19? Ideally, I'm hoping that by the time this airs, we can be back to normal life or at
Oh,
least a semblance. But how are
yeah.
you coping right now?
It's really tough for all of us. We are stuck in our rooms all day, and I'm just going outside once a week for laundry and grocery shopping. Otherwise, I'm in here.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I noticed today Japan declared a
Yeah.
national emergency.
Yeah.
Have you been able to stay in contact with your family over there?
Yeah. Yeah. Finally, they did. It was so late. I'm so surprised. Like, we were all worried about Japanese people. They weren't really worried about themselves. But finally, I think they have some sort of emergency in their mind. Yeah.
Yeah. So with all of this, did it affect any projects that you were working on?
Yeah. I'm working with one of the theater productions right now who is planning to launch off Broadway this year. And we were about to hold an audition on March 14th for the reading workshop that we were planning to do in April. But the Broadway decided to shut down on March 12th. And
Mm.
we heard that announcement. We canceled our audition and workshop immediately. Yeah.
Is there any rescheduling for that? Do you know if
Yeah.
anything's
So
gonna happen?
we are doing like virtual reading and or like doing recording the songs remotely right now, and we would love to play that show like in future, maybe end of this year. It could be next year, we don't know yet, but we are planning to have off Broadway in future.
Oh, good. So it's
Yeah.
not been completely eliminated. It's just been
Yeah, it's not.
sidelines for the
Yeah, it's just
moment.
postponed.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
that's good at least.
Yeah.
What sort of performing were you doing in Tokyo before you moved to the United States?
So there's a huge musical theater company in Japan called Shiki, and who owns the rights for a lot of long-running Broadway musicals, like the Disney musicals, Phantom, Wicked, Mamma Mia,
Hmm.
and so on. And they have about 800 actors working with them. And I worked with them for 5 years, from 2007 to 2012, and participated more than 1,000 performances. And yeah,
Wow.
5 years. Yeah, I was mostly performing in Cats, and I was the first Japanese cast in Spring Awakening, and I was also in West Side Story and Mamma Mia.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
What was it like being in the first Japanese cast of Spring Awakening?
Oh my God, it was amazing. So when we open the new show in Japan, we invite Broadway people to Japan and they will come teach us. So we could have the music director from Broadway, and the assistant choreographer was our director to come to teach us Spring Awakening. So it was great experience because I never had that experience before, and that's why I really get into, like, I really wanted to go to Broadway to like work with them again in here in New York. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Is the
Mhm.
industry in Japan different than the industry here in terms of performing industry?
Yeah, it's very different. So you need to take an audition to be able to get in this company, Shiki, which is only like once a year for that audition. But once you pass that audition, you are stable to perform musical theater every day with stable payment
Mm,
until you get fired or decide to quit.
okay.
Well, and other theater companies or productions exist, but a lot of productions use TV talent or idols for the show who are not
Hmm.
trained for musical theater.
Hmm.
And a lot of young actors are struggling to be able to getting into industry because most of the productions are already cast with TV talents, and there are not many auditions for non-famous actors.
Mm.
Mm.
So you mentioned really the only way you leave this theater, this large theater company, is if you're fired or you decide to
Mhm.
leave.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Why did you decide to give New York City a try?
So yeah, it was really great with working with them and with stable payment, really. But I really wanted to challenge myself to Broadway because it was my dream and all the actors' dream. you know. So before I worked with Shiki, I was international student at Steps on Broadway, dance studio in New York. I was taking many auditions at that time, and I passed the audition and I got an offer from one of the productions, but I couldn't work because I only had a student visa.
Oh.
Yeah. So I was so sad about it. They liked my skill and they wanted me to work with them, but I couldn't.
Mm.
So I went back to my country and worked with Shiki for 5 years. But I definitely wanted to come back to New York. And with that 5 years of credit in Japan, I was ready to get working visa. Then I moved to New York with my visa in 2013.
So
Yeah.
you've been here for about 7 years
Yeah.
then.
7 years now. Oh my God. Time
Was
flies.
It does, right?
uh,
It really, really flies,
yeah.
especially when you've got a goal in mind.
Mm,
The time kind of both drags on, but also
mm,
flies. You're like, wow,
uh,
this year is taking forever, but also where did the last seven go?
right. True.
Was the transition from Tokyo to New York City difficult?
Yeah, I guess so. Well, culture is really different, and all the systems are different.
Hmm.
Auditions, how to work, socializing,
Yeah. Yeah.
and also my English was pretty bad.
Oh,
So,
oh, well, I mean, you've made
well, it
drastic
got better.
improvements apparently. Yeah, because
It got better in 7 years.
it sounds fantastic. Did you ever question your decision to move across the world?
Yes, I have. It was my fourth year of New York.
Mhm.
The first 3 years were pretty good because everything was just so new to me.
Mhm.
And I enjoyed every moment, all the new experiences. And after 3 years, I struggled with the fact that I couldn't get the job I really want to do,
Mhm.
and I kind of lost my vision. I was so lost. I thought I really should go back to Japan and start working there again to be able to live my life with theater work, not
Mhm.
serving at restaurants all day.
Mhm.
Yeah.
What made you move past that moment? How did you, because I mean, if that was year four, you're at year seven
Yeah.
now.
So true. So fourth, fifth, sixth was actually it wasn't good. Not good for me. It was hard. A lot of I didn't really get that excitement. But sixth year, uh start beginning of the 7th year, maybe I got a job for the my dream role chorus line, and that really changed me a lot. I felt so relieved and like I this is really I wanted to do. And after that I got more confident. So, and then that year was really, really good. 2019, after I passed the audition for Chorus Line, I did another show like new musicals, and I went to Japan, and I did the national tour, and it was really good year, 2019. Yeah.
Oh, good.
Mhm.
It sounds like, that fourth and fifth year, maybe even halfway through that sixth, you just had to trust that you were in
Yeah,
the right place.
right.
Trusting future
Hmm.
you to know what's
Right.
gonna happen.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, I'm glad I didn't go back to Japan. I'm glad I stayed here, and yeah.
Is it tough
Mhm.
being so far from your family and friends in Japan?
Sometimes,
Mhm.
yeah, but I'm very thankful for social media. I can
Yeah.
see how my friends are doing, or they can see me as well. And I can also FaceTime anytime. And it's free right now. It's so convenient.
Uh,
Yeah.
definitely. I mean, yeah, everybody's home anyway, so
So you're right. True, true, true.
have you found a group of people up here that are maybe in a similar transition?
Mm, yeah, I do have a lot of Asian actor friends from China, Korea, Taiwan, Japan, and everyone is struggling with visa problems,
Mm,
language, and accents. Yeah.
mm.
Mhm.
As an Asian woman acting on stage and on screen in America, have you experienced being profiled or dismissed because of your race?
Yeah, I think so. Well, I mean, I think race is important in plays because of the background of the story.
Hmm.
So,
So have you had a time where let's say you've gone in for something that you knew you were right for in terms of the way you act, the way you dance, the way you sing, but
um,
maybe you're not someone they would traditionally cast in that role. Have
uh,
you experienced something like that?
yeah, I never know like
Mm,
what's the reason that you get cut, but I
mhm,
guess it happens a lot.
mhm,
Yeah,
mhm,
and I do understand that in some situations, like plays, musicals, because they have certain role that they want, or like characters types
mhm,
too.
mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you find that there are certain roles available to you?
Yeah, but I might be putting myself in a box too, which is
Mm.
really not good. Like I only see myself playing Marcy Park in Spelling Bee, but maybe I could be Olive Ostrovsky.
Oh, you absolutely could. You
But
totally
yeah,
could.
but I guess it's really hard to think that way for a lot of people because
Mhm,
most of us already have an image of the characters, and you really have to break out of that image, which is really hard but possible.
mhm.
I know so many cases too. Like last Christmas, well, I played Snoopy in a national tour of a Charlie Brown Christmas, and I think that's kind of cool that they hired an Asian girl for the world famous character Snoopy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really proud of that.
So you speak English, Japanese, and now sign language. What made you
Mhm.
want to learn sign language?
I have been interested in sign language since I was 10 years old, and I studied JSL when I was a kid, and I started studying ASL this year, 2020. I'm very beginner.
So that's Japanese Sign Language and
Yeah,
then American Sign
American Sign
Language.
Language.
Just
Yeah,
just clarifying.
yeah, yes. I started American Sign Language this year, so I'm beginner, but still, I think sign language is one of the most beautiful languages, and I wanted to use it with my singing and dancing. This is because the sign explain a lot of things, and also facial expression is very important in sign language. So, for example, like this January, I had a song I wanted to sing in Japanese, and I wanted to perform it American Sign Language. So I thought people who don't understand Japanese could understand more of the story in American Sign Language. That's the reason I started sign language this year. Yes.
Wow.
Mm,
That's really beautiful. I love that.
thank
So you're
you.
now I've noticed you're now teaching some online classes.
Yes, I am.
What's what's that like?
So I started last week, and I'm teaching the song with Japanese sign language towards a Japanese audience.
Hmm.
And I want people to feel the words of the song more by expressing with body movement. And when you use sign language, I think you will be able to feel the words more because you add your body movement to the words. Plus, yeah, and a lot of students said that they could put more feelings to the song, and it feels so good to sing with it. Hmm.
Yeah. I mean, dancing, any movement with your body is so expressive. And so when you're assigning actual meaning word meaning
Mm,
behind every movement, which obviously sign language does,
mm,
I can see how in singing a song that would bring it closer to you as
right, right,
even
right,
as not a performer, as just someone wanting to
right, right.
learn.
Uh-huh. True,
Yeah.
true, true.
Is it easier for your students to learn the signs through song?
I think so because like when you learn foreign language, a lot of people start with the singing. Like for English too, Japanese start with the English song to learn English because so with the music, I think it's easier to feel it and or
Mm-hmm.
like sing through, and you will uh, like we will just sing first without knowing the meaning of the words, and then you start learning through it. So
That totally makes sense.
mhm.
So you've mentioned being insecure about your English.
Mm.
It's fantastic, by the way. I'll say it again.
Thank you.
Um, do you ever feel like as soon as as you open your mouth in an
Mm,
audition that
mm,
you're being judged based
mhm.
on your accent or based
Yeah.
on anything like that?
Yeah, well, yes. Now I'm a little bit more confident than 7 years ago, but still, it's really hard for me. Well, I guess it's also my personality. I'm not really confident in my speaking skill, even in Japanese. And I'm not the person who would lead the subject. And I'm always a listener in the group. So that didn't help me grow my English speaking skill at all. Because I
Mm,
really don't talk that much. Also, like when I struggle with speaking or when it's really hard to explain or when people don't understand what I'm saying,
mm,
some people do talk down to me. And I think most of the foreigners have experienced this. Some people get really annoyed when we can't speak English very well. And suddenly I just stop talking or give up.
mm.
That also didn't help me either.
Oh,
But anyway, however, well, I had an American boyfriend recently, and we were together for more 1.5 years, and that helped me a lot. And I think I have more confidence to speak now.
yeah. I can see how having someone who isn't going to judge your speaking skills, they've
Mm,
already, decided they're like, it's
mm,
fine. We can still
mm,
communicate. And
mm,
I've always found it frustrating when when I see people getting frustrated with someone who doesn't speak English perfectly,
mm,
because I can guarantee you that, they speak like you speak English better
mm.
than I speak Japanese. And I guarantee you, you know what I mean? Where like
Yeah.
anybody,
Mhm.
I'm
Right.
like, no, this is a second language. They're already way ahead of you in terms
Mhm,
of trying to communicate in another culture. And
mhm,
I can't imagine being someone to experience that. So back to theater, because you're already so far from home, does that make going on tour less of an adjustment?
Um, like I have my home now in New York City,
Mm.
even though Japan is still my home country. So now leaving from New York City will feel like leaving from home.
What is your dream role?
So, well, Connie Wang was has been my dream role for a long time, like more than 10 years. But I finally played her last year in New Hampshire, and
Mm-hmm.
I would love to have another chance to play Connie Wang again. And so, but another dream role, I want to play Rosie in Mamma Mia and Barth in Pippin in the future. Not now. I'm still too young to play these roles.
Mm-hmm.
It might take more than 10 years again.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to have this dream role in my mind. Then I would not stop training and growing until I play this dream role.
Yeah. Oh,
Mm.
that's so good to have a dream role so far out in the future, too.
Yeah.
Where you're like, it's fine. I can't even play this one right now.
Yeah. So it's good. So I can just aim to that goal.
You could just keep on chipping away.
Yeah.
Do you have any aspirations of being on the other side of the table, a director, choreographer, producer, etc.?
hmm I am a choreographer, and I will be choreographing a new off-Broadway musical this year that just postponed. So, which is called Poupelle of Chimney Town, and it is based on the picture book written by Japanese author Akihiro Nishino. And it is great fantasy adventure story for all ages. The music is great, and the lyrics and script are very touching. And yeah, I'm really excited about this show right now. Please come
Mhm.
see the show when it opens.
Have you ever thought about directing?
Not really. Maybe in future.
Mhm. Not
Yeah,
right now.
not now.
Do you ever doubt yourself?
Yes, I doubt myself. I can do director right now. But no. Well, anyway. I do doubt myself a lot. It's really kind of hard to believe in yourself, but I think I am getting better than before.
Mhm. Mhm.
Mm.
Who do you turn to when you find yourself in a place of doubt? Do you have friends or your parents
Yeah,
or
yeah. Well, yeah. Fortunately, I do have friends that I can talk to, and they help me a lot to find my way.
to wrap things up, I ask the same two questions to
Mhm.
everyone who comes through the podcast.
Mm.
The first question, what
Mhm.
is your second favorite color?
My second favorite color is pink.
Why do you like pink?
I don't know.
Like hot pink or like pale pink?
Pale pink. Yeah, I have a lot of stuff, mostly like small stuff like mirrors or cover of the iPad.
Mm-hmm.
I choose pink.
And finally, what, in your opinion, is the best part of being a woman?
So this is a really hard question because since I was little, I always wanted to be a boy.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Climbing trees was my favorite things to do, and I played basketball with boys every day. And I always thought being a boy was better than being a girl. And I realized that I really need to act like a kawaii Japanese girl in Japanese society. And I did grow up like that, actually. And but moving to the US, I met a lot of women who are very independent and secure. And so my image of women has changed since I moved here. So, because I can't see the best part of being a woman, it's no longer about being a woman. It is about being yourself. And
Mm.
well, I am bisexual. I love both men and women,
Mm-hmm.
but it is not about the gender. I love the person, not because of the gender. It's all about the personality and their heart. So, gender, nationality, age doesn't really matter.
Mm-hmm.
I'm proud of myself, and this is the best part of being me.
Oh my goodness. Oh, that's a beautiful answer. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining us today, Musa.
Mm.
I admire your tenacity, your dedication to your art. And thank you, listeners, for tuning in again. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a review. You can follow us on Instagram at Women of Her Story Podcast. You can also send an email to womenofherstorypodcast@gmail.com. It's a crazy world, so be safe, stay healthy, and show the world what you're made of.
Yes.